Welcome to the Tim Johnson Show, located in Grand Blanc, Michigan. My name is Tim Johnson, and I'm here with a very, very, very special guest, Judge Herman Marable. And from my understanding, Judge Marable is running for Circuit Court Judge. And tell me what you're thinking, Judge. What made you decide to run?
Well, I've been a Flint District Judge for the last 20 years. I'm in my 20th year.
Yes, sir.
And I think there are several reasons why I decided to run. I'm running for an open seat that is caused by the retirement of Judge Mike Thiele.
Okay.
He has to retire because he's over the age of 70.
Okay.
And that's the law in Michigan.
Right.
So I'm running for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
First of all, I have 20 years experience as a judge.
Okay.
And 9 years as a prosecutor before that.
I remember that.
And I don't think that any other judicial candidate running in this county,
Right.
let alone in my race,
Right.
can say that they've been a judge for 20 years.
Sure.
I think it's important that we have judges that are experienced.
It's true.
And so that's one thing. I have the experience. The second thing relates to representation.
Right.
With the retirement of Judge Richard Ewell on New Year's Day of this year,
Okay.
that meant that probably for the first time in the history of Genesee County,
Okay.
and certainly in living memory,
Okay.
that there was not a judge who resided in the city of Flint on circuit court.
Okay.
And I think it's important that really all parts of the county be
Right.
represented.
Right.
In fact, to the best of my knowledge, all of the judges currently on circuit court live south of Court Street.
Okay.
So the whole northern half of the county
Right.
doesn't have any representation.
Well, you've always been, in my memory, the people's judge. You really have. You had a love and concern for the people, and I've sat in your courtroom many times, and you were very, very, very sincere, very personal with whoever was in front of you. You treated them fair, and I know you've always been. That's why I use the word people's judge. But just for the viewing audience, I want to say this: I'm not in trouble. I'm not in trouble. I didn't do anything wrong. But we have a special guest with us today, and I'm so proud to sit beside him because he's a good man with a good heart, and he's always treated Genesee County residents fair when they came in his courtroom. That's if you can't say anything else about him. I've been there and I've seen him, and he has a love for the people. He really do. So matter of fact, I understand that you have a scholarship program.
Well, yes, we've had the Judge Marable Student of the Month, Student of the Year program now
Okay.
for 16 years.
Okay.
And it's for 10th graders throughout Genesee County.
Okay.
They have to write an essay about their career goals.
Right.
And if they're selected as a Student of the Month, we give them a trophy, we give them $75, they get a T-shirt, some other prizes. They get to shadow me for the day at the
Right.
courthouse. And we have a trip that goes to Michigan State. Michigan State, they spend the day on the campus of Michigan State.
Okay.
This year, because the campus closed down due to
Right.
the virus, putting it off till next year.
Right.
But that has been a program that allows me to be involved with the community
Right.
and interact with people outside of just whatever we do as judges in the courtroom.
So not only just caring about the parents, he's caring about the youth also and their future. I mean, I tell you, that's a great combination. What do you want to do different when you attain that seat? What do you want to do different?
Well, as I said, I think it's important that we have judges that are experienced, especially that we have the strain on our country,
Yes.
our community.
Yes.
I think it's important that we have judges that have experience because the courts are going to have to make and society in general, some very serious adjustments.
Right.
But I'm going to go back to talking about the representation.
Okay.
It's different living in Flint than maybe some other parts of the county.
For sure.
And, you know, you're the chief of police.
For sure.
You
For
know
sure.
this.
For sure.
You know
For
this
sure.
better than anybody.
For sure.
And, you know, we have some issues in the city of Flint, and there needs to be that representation.
Yes, sir.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you get selected for jury duty,
Yes.
and I don't know, have you ever been?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you probably remember, if it was before, I think 3 years ago,
Okay.
they would send you a questionnaire in the mail.
Right.
You fill it out, you drop it in the mailbox. In
Right.
fact, the county pays for the stamp.
Right.
And, you know, they let you know when you've got to come report for
Right.
jury duty.
Right.
Okay. A decision was made a couple of years ago
Okay.
where the filling out of that questionnaire has to be done online.
Okay.
Well, maybe some of your viewers are saying, what's the big deal with that?
Right.
Well, when you consider that in the city of Flint,
Right.
for example,
Right.
half of the people do not have
Didn't have a
computers,
computer. Yes.
and
that's
even
true.
fewer have internet access.
Or know how to use it.
Exactly.
That's true.
You have a lot of senior citizens
That's true.
who are not computer users.
There you go.
And the alternative that they are given when you
Okay.
get this questionnaire in the mail
Right.
is, well, if you don't have internet service, you can come down to the courthouse
Right.
and fill out, we'll help you fill out the questionnaire. on the
Right.
computer.
Right.
Well, that's a big burden.
That's another problem. Some of them don't have cars.
Absolutely. And it
Right.
isn't just a Flint issue.
No, it's not.
I got a call a couple of months ago from a gentleman who was 69 years old
Right.
from Flushing.
Okay.
And he expressed to me that he was concerned that he was going to get, held in contempt of court
Oh, yeah.
if
yeah.
he didn't fill out this
There you go.
survey. He
Didn't
didn't have a
respond.
computer,
Yep.
never had a need for a computer.
Mhm.
And, it doesn't really have to be this way.
Right. Right.
There are other counties, Ingham County, Washtenaw County,
Okay.
Wayne County,
Okay.
the federal courts.
Okay.
If you don't, you have the option of filling it out by using a computer.
Okay.
You have the option of mailing this questionnaire in.
Right.
Well, this is important because it affects the composition of who's going to be on a jury.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
There are people who are going to be excluded from being on a jury who are not filling out this questionnaire, or who don't have the means to be able to do
Right.
so.
Right.
And in this country, the right to a jury trial is something that we treasure and value.
Yes, it is.
And when you consider that in this county, maybe 10 years ago, the courts actually tried to address this issue. There was a big campaign. You might have remembered this. They had a campaign that said, I think the quote was, "It's not fair if you're not there." And they were trying to make sure that underrepresented populations
Right.
filled out questionnaires and served on juries.
On jury, yes.
So I guess what I'm saying is whoever was in the room when this decision was made
Right.
didn't think about the things that I'm telling
right.
you about.
Right. Right.
And that's why it's important to have broad representation when these
Right.
decisions are made.
Right.
That's just one example.
Right. Right. Yeah, I tell you, and we know that there's a lot of areas in Flint that does, and in fact, there's not a rocket scientist to know that these people don't own a computer or they don't have a vehicle, and some of them don't want to come to court to sit on a jury, but for the ones that do, that don't have access to that kind of equipment, that's definitely not good representation of the community, especially when it's people that's maybe from the inner city that's actually going before the judge and they need to be represented by the people from that community.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I know you're familiar with the digital divide.
Yeah, yeah.
When those who have broadband or access
Right,
to computers and internet are in one camp, and those who don't, are excluded from many activities.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you can't buy something on
Right,
Amazon,
right,
but we're talking about jury service.
right.
and the right for people to have fair juries.
It comes down to the same thing that when I said that I wanted to hire more police officers, I felt like I needed to hire police officers from Genesee County, not from Oakland, not from Wayne, not from south of Wayne County. I needed people that actually understood what was going on in Genesee County and in Flint. And in order to do that, you had to be from around this area.
Sure.
You know, so that was a big one for me, was making sure that I pulled from within and didn't go outside the boundaries of this county to try to hire. And we had a lot of applicants that wanted to apply, but it wouldn't have been right to not pull from within.
Sure.
You know, so, but I want to say this, Judge, I tell you, I'm glad to hear you running. I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of what you've accomplished, because I knew you when you was back when a prosecutor. And so before you actually got on the bench, you know, and like I said, you was always fair then, and you continued that being a people person, you know. So and I can appreciate that, you know. So I pray that God bless you with what you're seeking in your heart. I pray that He bless you with that, you know, that position and anything else that you're putting your hands to. So anything else you would like to tell the viewers?
No, and thank you for that, Chief. I really appreciate that. No, I look forward to the campaign and getting my views and qualifications out there for the public.
Right.
And I do want to mention that, you know, I don't have to resign my district court seat to run for circuit court.
Right.
So I look forward, hopefully, to serving the whole county.
Well, we're looking forward to having you back on the show. So we're going to keep the prayers going up for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to our viewers for watching this show. Pay attention to that ballot and make sure that you actually cast your vote. And I tell you, this gentleman sitting right here is, I think he's proven himself. He's sitting on the bench now, and he's been there for 20 years. That should say something. That says a lot. So cast your vote and cast it in the right direction. And we appreciate you viewing this show, and stay tuned for the next one.